Okay, this video is going to help you with the card sort. We've had a couple people having issues with the card sort in the desmos activity. So let's take a look and let's pretend like I have these cards sitting in front of me. There are lots of cards that are very similar to each other, and then there are cards that are different. And what we're trying to do is not match cards that are similar. We're trying to match cards that all work within the same equation. So the first thing that's probably the easiest to do is you can move these around in all sorts of ways, is maybe organize them by their type. So maybe put your graphs together. Maybe put, your and your ors together. Whoops, out of the picture. There you go. Maybe put your equations together. All right, this is going to go with this. The set of all numbers is going to go with the set of all numbers. And here's something with solutions. So this solution goes with this solution. So now what I've done is I've kind of organized them into things that we know about problems. Let me try and get that a little bit organized. Okay, so now that I have them organized, you want to start with your equations. All right, now this is going to match kind of like the second to last and the last video, but I think by watching this it'll help you with the other videos too. So I'm starting with my two equations, and those are going to be kind of like the beginning tops of my two groups. So I'm going to have two groups, and I think in number 7 and slide 8 you've got 3 or 4 groups, but we're just going to work with 2 right now. So what I want to do is I want to figure out how to solve those equations. So I bring in a piece of paper, and I say, okay, this is a land problem, so it's an and problem. This is an or problem. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start solving it. To make my land problem an and problem, I have -4 is less than or equal to x minus 2 is less than or equal to 4. Okay? Now to solve that, I add 2 to all sides. And I end up with -2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. Now, before I go find my matching thing, I'm going to come over here and do this one. So this is an or problem. So I have x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 3. Or I have x plus 1 is less than or equal to -3. Don't forget you got to change your inequality and change your sign. So when I solve that, I get that x is greater than or equal to 2. Or that x is less than or equal to a -4. All right, so now that I have these two things, I can find them and match them up with what's going on. Let me go ahead and switch these so they match up with what I have on my paper. So I have x minus 2 is less than or equal to 4. So I need to look for -2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. So -2, whoops, that's a 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. Make sure you're doing your math right. All right, and so I come over here and I say, aha, these two go together. So you're going to take this and hover it on top of it until it connects. So then I'm going to look for the one that says x plus 2 or x is less than or equal to -4. So I find this one and I attach it to this one. So now I have my two things started already. Okay? Now, I have a problem, and I can take this work away here, because now I can just look at the kinds of things that I have left. My problem is I have this extra one. This extra one says that x is greater than or equal to 2 and x is less than or equal to 6. Well, it's not going to be this one because it's an or problem, which means it needs to be this one. Now let's take a look over here. And let me see if I can't make this a little bit more crisp. There we go. The reason this one works is because, look, the mouth is eating the x, not the -2. The mouth is eating the x, not the -2. It has an and then the mouth is eating the 6, not the x. The mouth is eating the 6 and not the x. So this one actually goes to this one. You can write it 2 different ways. For this one, you can only write it as an or. All right, the next thing you should probably do is do the graphs, okay? You've got this one, which we know is an and graph, so we can attach that together. We know that this one is an or graph, and we can attach that one together. And take a look, your numbers all match up. So we're getting all of our pieces matching together, okay? All right, now, what do these mean? These little solution things. 0 is not a solution, and x equals -5 is a solution. Well, that means that 0 isn't in the highlighted area, but -5 is in the highlighted or shaded area. Well, in this one, 0 is in the shaded area, and -5 isn't, so that one's not right. Let's look over here. 0 is not a solution, not in the shaded area. -5 is a solution. Yep, -5 is in the shaded area. Well, let's look at this one. 0 is a solution. Well, take a look over here. 0 is in the highlighted area. -3 is not a solution. Well, -3 would be out here, not in the area. Okay? All right, let me move us over here to the center, and we'll look at these last two. So, the set of all numbers is at least 3 units away from -1, and the set of all numbers is at most 3 units away from 2. All right, so what you want to do for these, because these are kind of confusing, look for the center of each of your graphs. So if we're looking for the center, there's the center of this graph, and there's the center of this graph, okay? Now, 1, 2, 3 away from 2, 1, 2, 3 away from 2, and your solutions can only go 3 away from 2. So at most, it can go 3 away from 2, because if it goes any further, then it's not a solution anymore. So this one says a set of all numbers is at most 3 units away from 2. Now let's look here. The center of this one is -1. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So your solutions are going to be more than 3 units away. So the set of all numbers is at least 3 units away. So it can't be any less than that. Okay, it can't be 2 units away because that's not a solution. It has to be at least 3 units away from your middle number, which is -1. And now I have put all of my groups together, and notice how this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they don't have the exact same amount, but they both all match up. I hope this helps, and I hope this helps as you're matching up your card sorts.